Well Strike channel. My name is Robert Zabias and I'm an ISK British kickboxing champion. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to throw your roundhouse kick, or show you how to throw your roundhouse kick, and common mistakes people tend to make when they throw it. When people start throwing their roundhouse kicks, the first thing they tend to do is they throw their kick like they're kicking a football. They throw it up without rotating their hip. Okay? And if you're going to do that, you're not getting power into your kick. Well, you could get power, but then you're more like kicking your opponent's elbows than you're actually kicking your opponent's body or leg. Depends whichever level you want to go for. Okay? But if I'm going to kick just up, there's a high chance it's going to land into my elbow. And that is a big no-no. Especially if you're going to land with your foot, you're going to break your foot straight away. Okay? I fought once at the O2, I kicked my opponent's elbow and I genuinely thought I broke my foot. It stopped me from kicking for the rest of the fight. Okay, so first things first is we need to rotate that hip. So when we're going to rotate that hip, what we're going to do is we're just going to bring that hip forward slightly here, and as we throw our leg up, we're going to turn just before it connects to our target. So we go up and then we turn through. And the best way to do it is we bring that hip forwards, okay? Because where the hip goes, the leg will follow, and as the leg comes as the hip comes forwards, the leg follows, and then we turn our hip over. Okay, so we kick up, and just before we connect, we turn into our target. Okay, so we go up and then turn into my target. The next common mistake people tend to do is when they kick, they go all the way around. It's not the worst thing you could do, but what it does is it just tells your opponent you're throwing a kick, and by the time you do get to your opponent, you lost most of your power. Because if I'm going round, I'm going to come up here and it's going to go all the way around and then hit the bag. So up and then round. It just takes a longer time for my kick to land, okay? And the more time I give my opponent to react, the higher chance they'll be able to counter me. So if I go round, gives him more time to react, and once again it takes power away from my kick, because by the time I land it, the kick has lost half its power in that motion of getting through. So when I do kick, I kick it up and then I rotate in. I kick it up and then I rotate in. I don't just kick straight up, but a little up and through. Next thing people tend to do is when they kick, they don't rotate on their foot, because you need to rotate that foot, because what that's going to allow is to rotate your hip. If you don't rotate your foot, you can't rotate your hip. And then once again, the kick looks like this, okay? There's no power because the hip can't open up. So as I'm going to throw my kick, watch my non-kicking leg. As I throw it, the foot rotates. Here, you don't have to go as deep with the rotation or that pivot, but I'm over exaggerating it because I just want to make sure when I kick, the foot rotates, allowing my hip to turn in. So every time I go to kick, I go up and through and focus on my foot. The next thing, hands, okay? So for kickboxing purposes, Thai boxing, Muay Thai, whatever you want to do, even for MMA, okay? You can throw your kicks like this, keep your hands nice and tight, but then the power is not going to be there. So if I throw my kicks like this, once again, I'm losing a little bit of power because my hands are tucked in. So I'm just throwing that leg, trying to hook it in. So what I want to do next is, I want to bring my hands out. So if I'm kicking my right, I'm going to use my right hand. What I'm doing is, I'm just bringing my hand up and out. It's like a little dab, I'm just dabbing in, boom. I'm bringing, as I kick, I bring my hand out, allowing my hip to rotate, come forwards, and just puts more power into my kick. Here, you can do it two ways. You can move your hand down, or you can keep your hand up. I prefer myself keeping the hand up, because if my opponent goes to throw a punch, it stops him from landing his punch, okay? So, if I'm going to kick, I have to make sure my foot steps and turns, okay? Allowing my hip to turn. I go straight up, and just before the kick connects, I rotate into my target. We don't want to go all the way around, because by the time we get to my target, it either gives them time to react to it, or I lose power. So when I kick, I want to make sure I kick, go straight up and through. And the last thing is, when you kick, don't just kick the bag, okay? Like say you're doing partner drills, pads, everything. When you do that kick, you're not focused on kicking the bag, because as soon as you kick the bag, that's it, your kick goes back, and it's like, yeah, fine, you kicked it, but there's no power. What you want to make sure is you're not kicking their bag, or you're not kicking at the bag, you're going through the bag. So if the bag is here, I don't want to kick the bag, I want to go through and get to that red bag. So as I kick, I'm trying to get as much power as I can. Nice and fast, nice and fast. Okay, so everything I'm doing, I'm not kicking the bag, I'm trying to get through the bag. Nice and fast, nice and sharp, okay? The next thing is where does your leg return? Do you throw your kick, or you step down? Once again, if you're throwing your kick and you're losing the control here, you put yourself in a bad position. When you throw your kick, we always want to make sure it comes back where it came from. So we throw it, boom, boom, and we return it straight back. So it comes from home, and straight back home, okay? If I throw my kick and I step down, that's perfectly fine, because then we're setting ourselves up for our next technique. However, if I throw it and I fall into it, I open myself up for counters. So the last thing I want to talk about is when you throw your kicks, don't just throw your kicks like you're in a fight, sparring, whatever you're doing. Don't just throw your kicks, because it's easy to be seen, it's easy to be countered, everything. So what we're going to do is, we want to set our kicks up so we can just use our hands, we touch in, boom, nice, nice, nice and light, just playing, boom, boom, touch, touch, touch. And let's say our opponent starts focusing on our hands now, he's getting distracted, and boom, boom. Then I put my kick in. Don't just go straight with your kicks, use your hands to set up. Use your hands, or use other techniques to set up your kicks. So boom, boom. Nice and light. The same principles apply for when you throw your lead leg, but the only difference here is when you throw your lead leg, because it's to the front, there's no power in it. So what we're going to do is, we're going to do a little shuffle step. So here, and we're going to just switch kick. When we switch kick, what we make sure is, we don't switch and jump. We don't switch by jumping, because it takes longer time for us to land to the ground and then kick. Once again, it gives my opponent time to react, and then if he wants, he can counter, he can sweep me, because both legs are in mid there. If he kicks me, I'm just going to go on my bottom, okay? So what we're going to do is, as we switch, we keep our feet nice and light to the floor, and we glide across. Nice and tight. And then once you get to here, everything applies the same, okay? So we rotate that foot, we bring this hip forwards, we keep our hands nice and tight, we kick up and through. So exactly the same technique as we did at the start. So we go here, boom, boom. But just, I use that switch to set myself up for my lead leg kick. Here, boom. Everything is the same. Nothing changes, we just boom. Switch and kick. We switch and kick. So when you do your roundhouse kicks, practice the basics. Then once you start feeling like you're nailing your kicks, then add your hands into it, okay? So once you feel like you're getting better at your kicks, now start, before you throw your kicks, just use your hands, set your kicks up. So we go nice and high jab cross, I throw a little hook, boom, I go kick, bam, bam, bam. And the same applies if you go into the leg, body or head. But if you're not flexible enough at the start, make sure you're just focusing on them low kicks, roundhouse to the low. Yeah? Then the more you do it, the more flexible you're going to become. Then you go mid-range to the body. And then once you get more flexible, that's when we go to the head kick. So here. Okay? Don't try to go head kick straight away, because if you are not flexible enough, you might hurt your groin, okay? I've done it in the past. When I first started off, I thought I'm going to be cool. I went to the bag, kick, and that is pretty painful, and I don't suggest that to anyone. So always start basic. So we go low, then we go mid-range, and then once we establish mid-range, we can go high, okay? And then, once again, to finish off, use your hands, set your kicks up, don't just throw your kicks straight away because it's easy to be seen. Make sure you use your hands to set your kicks up. Use other kicks, use feint kicks to set your kicks up, but don't go straight away with kicks, okay? Easy to counter, easy to catch, scoop, sweep, okay? So hope this video helped. Make sure you like and subscribe to Follow Strike channel. Follow my fight journey on Instagram at Rob_Zab, and I hope to see you soon.